Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another Hockey Talk. There was always the discussion, should the NHL stay a league exclusively in North America? Or is there a possibility that the NHL could become a worldwide hockey league? Of course, there are some facts that would prevent that, not only travel, time zone issues, contract issues, because contracts you have in the NHL you could never have in Europe. Yeah, that's just the way it is. And a lot of other things that speak against that. However, I heard the hockey guy talk several times about that the NHL could go with 32 teams in North America and 8 teams in Europe. Of course, there are reasons that Europe is the place you have to go, because going to Africa, where there's basically no hockey at all, no. South America, most likely not, because in South America, football, aka soccer, is the absolute king, and baseball is getting bigger and bigger, and there is no room for hockey. Australia does have an hockey league. It's a small league, but yeah, they're playing, but population-wise and interest-wise. And there are also so many other sports around in Australia. You have the NRL, the rugby league, you have rugby union, you have Aussie rules, and yeah, a lot of other things that are special to Australia. New Zealand is just not big enough, although they do have a league, but population-wise, it's absolutely no question. And in Asia, especially in the south of Asia, yeah, the temperatures are so high, people do not care about ice and not about hockey. And also there are a lot of other sports like football, soccer, and especially in places like India, where cricket is the absolute king. Yeah, the only place hockey works is North America and Europe. So, I will now have a look at the map of Europe, and I will tell you where I would go with 8 teams in Europe, and thereafter I will tell you if I think this could work or not. So, let's get onto the board and have a look at Europe. Because Europe is population-wise pretty big, and there are a lot of big cities with a lot of hockey fans, with arenas that could be used. So let's have a look. Where would I go first? 8 teams in Europe. The first place I would go, of course, has to be Stockholm, the capital city of Sweden. There's the Globe Arena, which will host 4 NHL games in November. I will be there to see 3 of them. This will be a lot of fun. Sweden is absolutely crazy about hockey. Sweden had the most players in the NHL, except from the US and Canada. Sweden is hockey, and yeah, Stockholm with the Globe Arena, this, yeah, would be the place I go first. Okay, the second place I would go to, not that far away. I would go to Helsinki. That's of course in Finland. Finland also with a lot of hockey tradition, a lot of players, a lot of very good players. Just to talk about Jari Kurri, Teemu Selänne, so many others that are just fantastic. Helsinki, also a big city. This would be a place to go. Third place I would go. Is Prague. If someone from Czechia watches this, I'm sorry if I'm writing it the way it's spelled in German. Yeah, I'm from Germany, sorry about that. Prague is the next place I would go. Czechia, also crazy about hockey. A lot of fans, a lot of very good players. Prague would be a natural spot where I had to go. Fourth. Two names on the board, Bern or Zurich. Both cities that have arenas. Hockey in Switzerland works as well. The Swiss League, one of the best in Europe, I think. If you rank it according to success, I would say that the Swiss league is financially the best league in Europe and sports-wise the third best league in Europe behind the SHL in Sweden and Liga in Finland. Switzerland, there's a lot of money in Bern and in Zurich, but both cities are not that big. Zurich has about 700,000 people and Bern has a lot less. It's a smaller city, around 400,000 approximately. Both too small to each support an NHL team, but together they could do that. We could also argue that Helsinki could get support from Tampere. Okay, let me write it down. Yeah, because Tampere, they hosted the Hockey World Championship this year, 2023. Great event. They have an arena that's big enough. This could work too. But all alone, Tampere is too small as well. One more place to go. Of course, I also have to go to Germany. I will also write two names down. I would go in Germany to Mannheim or to Cologne. These two cities have the biggest arenas in Germany. Mannheim with the SAP arena that can host for hockey, I think about 14,500. Köln, the Lanxess arena. I have done a video on this arena. Have a look up in the corner. From the outside, but that was fine. The Lanxess arena can hold about 17,000 people. Both arenas are good. But there is something special about hockey and about sports and fandom, especially in Germany. I will talk about that when I'm finished with this list. But yeah, in Germany I would put only one team, as mentioned, because of reasons I will talk about soon. But one team should go there. Next up, number 6. I go to London. London, the biggest city in Europe, about 6 million people. There should be enough hockey fans. Although hockey in Britain, they do have a league, yeah, but it's not that big. Not a major draw against football, soccer, against rugby, against cricket, against darts and snooker. There are so many sports in Britain. Hockey, one of the minor ones, definitely. But London, yeah, the O2 Arena, the former Millennium Dome, is definitely big enough. This could work. There's a lot of money in London. Maybe. Next up. If you have to say London, you also have to say Paris. But I would put an asterisk on this. This would be the first candidate I would drop. Because, yeah, as well as in Britain, in France, hockey is there, but it's also not a major sport. Against football, soccer, against rugby, and against some other French specialties, hockey is an absolute niche market in France. And I would not be that convinced that hockey would work in Paris. Palais Omnisport, wonderful arena. This arena-wise, no problem. But sports-wise and mental-wise in France, this would be hard. And then I will put 2 more cities on the board to get to 9. Because, yeah, there's a situation going on right now in Europe. There's a war going on. And these 2 cities would right now not be in the mix. They would not be an option. But population-wise, interest-wise, there would be no way around these 2 cities, Moscow and St. Petersburg. The 2 biggest cities of Russia. You cannot come to Europe and talk about hockey without talking about Russia. There are so many good players in Russia. Hockey is pretty big in Russia. The KHL, you have all heard this name, is a league that is pretty good still. Although it has some difficulties right now, but this is the political situation. Hockey is, I think, if not one of the top 3 sports in Russia. Ovechkin, Kucherov, Vasilevsky, so many Russian players in the NHL. They would surely love to play NHL games at home. So Moscow and St. Petersburg, both cities with a lot of money, with a lot of hockey tradition. These two places could work. And I would draw Paris and maybe also London in favor to Moscow and St. Petersburg in case there would be options available. So this brings us to 9 names on the list. Sweden, Finland, Czechia, Switzerland, Germany, Russia, maybe the UK, maybe France. But I think these are the only places that the NHL could go in Europe. So that's where I would go. The second and maybe even bigger question is, would this work? Would people in Europe, hockey fans in Europe, be willing to support NHL teams, to support sports franchises? To get a better explanation, I will tell you how hockey in Germany works. There is no league that the players have a contract with. The players have only contract with the clubs. Like if Red Bull Munich signs somebody, they cannot trade him to Mannheim or to Berlin and get something back. There is no draft, there is no farm system. There is youth development, yeah, of course, but the clubs do it by themselves, not centralized into a league, but totally decentralized. Fans, there are a lot of hockey fans also in Germany. They love their club, they love hockey, but they love their club. They grew up cheering for a certain club, like myself, growing up cheering for the EV Landshut, which is my hometown club. I still and always will support them. I grew up watching them. Fans here in Germany are pretty traditional. They don't want to change. They want their club, they want to root for them. Some are pretty crazy, go to every home game, go to every road game as well. This would definitely not be possible. Like a team that has its base in Mannheim and Cologne split, now goes on a 20-game road trip to North America. The fans will not see their team for a month, maybe 1.5 months, and you would have to do something like that in order to justify the travel and the time zone. They would lose interest because this product could be here, but it's not grown here. People will not go away from what they grew with, what they grew up with, in order to a product that has definitely the better quality on the ice, but it doesn't have the passion that these fans want, that the fans want to give. If you go to a hockey stadium here in Munich or in Landshut or anywhere in Germany, there is standing room. And in the standing room, the fans are cheering all the time. They are singing, they are shouting, they are crying. They live their team. And if you take away their team and give them something else, that maybe the product on the ice is better. Yeah, no question about that. But people will not accept that. And that's why I think the idea of the NHL coming to Europe for a few games as an event, as a one-off, perfect, very good. I will go to Stockholm and see 3 NHL games there. It's fantastic. But having this here all the time would take the interest of people out of that because they want to cheer for their club, not for a franchise. So, all this video basically, could I say it's for nothing? Because, yeah, I made up this list, I put some work in that, and then I tell you, nice, but this will not work. Let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about the NHL going to Europe for some games? I'm sure we can agree that some games, that's fine. But do you think this could work in the long run to have an European NHL division? I would be very interested, in case anybody watches this to the end. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And see you soon with hockey jerseys, because there's still some jerseys in front of me. And the next team I will show you my whole collection of are the New Jersey Devils. This video will be up in 3 days. See you then. Have a good time. Goodbye.